These are the recovery rooms. Sacred spaces where broken souls find healing, where the walking wounded discover they're not walking alone. From the Bayview Hunts Point district to the suburban treatment center of San Jose, from the Iron Triangle of Richmond to Balian, each room carries its own culture, its own rhythm, its own path to the same destination, freedom. This collection of stories emerges from those rooms, from the lived experience of recovery in communities that know both struggle and strength. These are not clinical case studies or academic research. They are in the front lines of healing, where the only credential that matters is the willingness to Bay Area. Welcome to the stories of healing that happen every day. One soul at stairs to the Bell Chapel CME church basement creaked with the weight of countless footsteps that had descended from street-level desperation to underground salvation for over 30 years. Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock, the basement transformed from storage space to sanctuary, from forgotten corner to foundation of hope.
The meeting began the way they all did, with the serenity prayer spoken by voices that understood every word. Some prayed to Jesus, some to Allah, some to a God they were still learning to trust. The basement walls had heard it all. Confessions, celebrations, breakthroughs.
When I first came to these basement meetings, I thought recovery was about getting my life back. But recovery ain't about getting your old life back. It's about building a life worth keeping.
You coming back Thursday? Good. Keep coming back. It works if you work it, and you're worth it.
Congratulations on your milestone. Keisha had been attending these meetings for 2 years, and she could tell you exactly which chair each regular occupied, which stories would be shared when the pain got too heavy, and which faces would disappear for months before returning, if they returned at all. Tonight, a newcomer sat in the back corner, maybe 19, with the hollow eyes that meant he'd seen too much too young. Keisha's sponsor had taught her that identification was more powerful than advice. These East Oakland rooms understood something that suburban treatment centers sometimes missed. Recovery in the hood required different strategies, different language, different understanding of what family meant and what community looked like.
The newcomer's name was Damon, and after the meeting, he stayed for the fellowship time that East Oakland meetings were famous for. While suburban meetings might end lie at 9 p.m., East Oakland rooms understood that community building happened in the space's beneficial programming. Are you eating right?
Yes, I am.
The lifelong medical building on McGoddard Avenue didn't look like where miracles happened. It looked like what it was, a community health center serving the Iron Triangle, the part of Richmond where hope had been strip mined by decades of economic abandonment, environmental racism, and the ravaged working-class black communities throughout the Bay Area. But inside, on the substance floor,
Patricia had been facilitating these groups for 5 years, ever since she'd completed the program herself. Today's session included 8 people in various stages of recovery, from Daryl, who had 90 days and still every time a car backfired, to Sister Gloria, who had 7 years and served as the group's unofficial grandmother.
Mark Island Naval Shipwire had been closed for over 20 years, but the ghosts remained in the empty buildings that once built destroyers, in the contaminated soil that's still the scars of militant industrial production, and in the bodies and minds of veterans who had served their country and to find their country struggling to serve them.
Thomas had served 3 tours in Iraq before returning to Vallejo to discover that the skills that kept him alive overseas, hypervigilance, emotional numbness, controlled aggression of civilian life, the pills that started as legitimate pain management for wounded back had become the only thing that quieted the noise in his head. Military taught us to follow Rodriguez, himself a Navy veteran with...
The community center on Story Road buzzed with the sound of children playing in the adjacent room while their parents, grandparents, and family members gathered in the healing circle. This was Círculos de Sanicos that approached through the lens of Lenzinet Latino family culture.
Here, we support each other.
Gracia standing that individual healing best in the context of community restoration.
Family is everything. Addiction makes family everything that hurts. Today's Círculo included 12 from teenagers whose parents were in recovery to abuelas from traditional 12-step programs, more community support. Less emphasis on powerlessness, more emphasis.
Recovery is not a destination, it is a daily practice, a community commitment, and a spiritual awakening that continues to unfold, fractioning and brewing in meeting rooms, treatment centers, and healing the Bay Area and beyond, each with its own culture, its own approach, its own understanding what healing looks like. From the gospel while maintaining its...
If you recognize yourself in these stories, whether as someone struggling with addiction or some understand the recovery process, remember this: healing is possible, recovery works, and you are not alone. Somewhere in your community, recovery rooms are gathering, coffee is brewing, and people are sharing their strength and hope with anyone ready to listen.